What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 15 of my Making a Murderer review. We are on season 2, episode 5, hence part 15. 10 episodes in the first season, 10 episodes in the second season, and we are halfway through season number 2. Season 2, episode 5, review. Here we go. This is the series where I obviously review Making a Murderer. I just finished Ken Kratz's book, The Case Against Stephen Avery and What Making a Murderer Gets Wrong. That video series is up. That ended up being 15 parts. Check it out. Just because I reviewed his book does not mean I believe anything that he says, but check it out. I found it interesting to compare what he said in his book, his narrative, to what we learned in Making a Murderer and what has come out since. So check that out. Click the playlist button and go give it a watch. But here we go. Part 15, Season 2, Episode 5 starts out with Kathleen Zellner. Talks about the blood that was found in the RAV4. States that Stephen Avery had a cut on his finger that reopened and that he bled in his bathroom sink. Stephen Avery states that he did not clean it up, but the next day when he looked at it to go clean it up, it was already clean. They believe that somebody was in his trailer, because he didn't clean it. Kathleen Zellner states he was bleeding on the night of November 3rd, and the RAV4 was found on November 5th, with, of course, Stephen Avery's blood inside it. Kathleen Zellner goes to visit Stephen Avery's trailer. This, of course, takes place many years after the crime, but Stephen Avery hasn't lived in it since that time either. She notices pry marks on the door frame. Kathleen Zellner takes out Stephen Avery's sink. She takes it with her to do some testing. This is where Kathleen Zellner believes the blood came from. She believes that the blood was dried because they found flakes of blood in the RAV4. She believes that the blood was scraped off the sink and placed in the RAV4, and that's why the blood was cleaned up out of his sink on November the 3rd. Kathleen Zellner gets amazing news at the time. I couldn't imagine the reaction that everyone was feeling inside. Kathleen Zellner gets news that Brendan Dassey is being released. I remember when that happened originally. Man, I was so happy for Brendan. It's so sad what ended up taking place. She goes to Barb's work to tell her, Brendan's mother, to tell her that her son, who at this point in time has been incarcerated for 10 years, but her boss won't let her leave. Imagine your son's in prison for 10 years and your boss was like, nah, I need you to cover this shift. And she's probably not in the position where she could just go say, F you, I'm leaving, I don't need this job, because she's got bills to pay, she's got rent, and they're probably not, obviously not financially secure, and she can't just go tell her boss off and walk out the door. She needs the job. But could you imagine being that boss and being like, nah, you can't go. What a piece of work this dude is. Attorney General Brad Schimmel plans to file an emergency appeal to stop Brendan Dassey's release. What a guy. What a guy. And this next sentence makes me absolutely furious. I cannot believe that these words came out of the Attorney General's mouth. And I completely understand what he thinks he's saying, and I'll explain it. But the Attorney General, Brad Schimmel, states that even if Brendan Dassey's statement was coerced, that doesn't mean he did the crime. What he's saying is just because the police had to lie to him, had to feed him the information, had to promise him leniency to get the truth out of him, allegedly, that it doesn't mean that he still didn't commit the crime. But you know what? It absolutely means he did not commit the crime. I have absolutely no idea if Brad Schimmel has kids. However, if he had, at the time, a 16-year-old with low-level IQ, low-level intelligence that is clearly easily led, he would be okay with them being treated in this manner from police? Absolutely not. Imagine that's the Attorney General's son in there. Do you think that the same thing happens to Brendan Dassey if he is Attorney General Brad Schimmel's son? Nope. What a piece of work Brad Schimmel is. Just from that quote, oh, it makes me so angry. Just from that quote alone, it shows the type of person and the type of thinking the Attorney General of Wisconsin, Brad Schimmel, is. If he watched, and I'm sure he's going to be like, oh, I watched the entire thing. If he watched even 2 seconds of it with an open mind, Brendan Dassey would not be in prison to this day. He would have been released all those years ago when the court agreed to overturn his conviction. What a guy. What a piece of work. Ugh. Just a disgusting thing to say. It is now up to the U.S. Court of Appeals, 7th Circuit, to decide if Brendan Dassey will stay in prison during the appeal process. This is also the same court that will later down the road decide if Brendan Dassey eventually gets freed altogether. Kathleen Zellner says they found flakes of blood in the RAV4, like I stated earlier, and she thinks that's where the blood came from. It came from the sink, which she took out of Stephen Avery's trailer. Kathleen Zellner talks about how, now this is a theory that a lot of people believe. They believe Teresa Halbach's ex-boyfriend Ryan had something to do, if not, he actually committed the crime. Lots of theories out there, and this is a strong one that people believe. Kathleen Zellner talks about how Teresa Halbach's ex-boyfriend and her roommate were never asked for an alibi. The ex-boyfriend, the roommate, are always people that are going to be on top of the list when a crime like this takes place. Where were you? What's your relationship like today? Type of thing. And they weren't asked for one, which is bonkers. Kathleen Zellner talks about how Teresa Halbach wouldn't even photograph a wedding because she knew her ex-boyfriend Ryan was going to be there. So that goes to show what type of relationship, at least at that point in time, that they had. It wasn't a good one. After Teresa Halbach was murdered, Kathleen Zellner states that Ryan moved into her house, a place where there may have been evidence that he allegedly, maybe, possibly, could have been getting rid of. Teresa's ex-boyfriend Ryan went to the Avery property on November 7th. The key to the RAV4 was found on November 8th. Could he have been involved in planting the RAV key? Probably not. Probably not to the place where he actually put it in the trailer. I don't think he ever went in the trailer. But could he have handed the key to a police officer and been like, this is a key to Teresa's RAV4 if you guys need it, or something along those lines, and then the cops were like, ooh, we can put this allegedly in Stephen Avery's bedroom. That's definitely a very plausible theory, in my opinion. That could be how they got the key. It might not have been, and you know what? That might explain why none of Teresa's DNA was on the key. Because that was not the key that she ever actually used. Ooh, what do you think? What do you think? That could have been like the spare key that she kept in her house, and that's why there was none of her DNA on it. You think? You think? I think. Definitely, allegedly, possible. Kathleen Zellner states that her ex-boyfriend Ryan said that Teresa Halbach made an insurance claim for the broken light, the parking light or whatever it is, on her RAV4. Kathleen Zellner looked into it with the insurance company, and that claim turned out to be false. She never made a claim for the broken light on the car. She made one, I think Kathleen Zellner said it was for a wiper issue or something along those lines. But either way, there was no claim made for the light that Ryan said she made a claim for. The episode ends December 7th, 2016. Brendan Dassey's lawyers file a response to the state's appeal, filing a response to their appeal of opposing Brendan Dassey getting out of prison. What a powerful episode, in my opinion. Very good, very well done. This is where a lot of people get the theory that Trace's ex-boyfriend Ryan maybe, possibly, allegedly had something to do with the crime. What do you think? Do you think it was Ryan? Do you think it was Bobby Dassey? Do you think that that theory about the key could have actually taken place? That that wasn't the original key? That that was her backup key, her spare key? And that's why none of her DNA was on it. I like that theory. What do you think? Let me know. Thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. I truly appreciate all your support, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.